the murders of Black people just was so in our faces all the time. And then to live in the state, where George Floyd was murdered, all of this is just, was so overwhelming. And I had to find a way to kind of focus that down and figure out and process why I live in a country that hates me so much. One of the chants that I would hear quite often, and one that to me still rings very true, is the name of the typeface itself, which is "Stop Killing Black People." Each letter form for me felt like a different person, and everyone is coming to the movement and showing up in a completely different way, but we should all be coming together to somehow make some vision of liberation. The S is like this really wonky, kind of strange looking letter form, but like the T and that horizontal stroke fits really nicely actually right there inside the counter space of the S. And so, that's what I started to think about, these letter forms really feeling really awkward, by themselves, but then all together, it's like, oh wow, this is a unifying message that we can actually take and now put on a flag or paint on a banner or shout out in front of a police precinct. It begins to have a much bigger impact when we are all together. I started thinking about us as letter forms and what it meant for us to come together out on the streets and thousands of people to be out there. And then what does that look like visualized in letters? Stop Killing Black People is just we are asking and pleading with you to see our humanity. I would say my, creation fits in the same narrative as activists before me. It feels just as urgent. It feels just as urgent to say Black Lives Matter as it does to say a man was lynched yesterday. The movement needs branding. And that's kind of my bread and butter. That's why I love to live, is solving the problem to how do I visually tell the story of what an organization or initiatives or a grassroots organization does. You don't know what folks are saying, 50 years, ago, but you knew exactly what they stood for by holding these signs, getting water hose down, all kinds of stuff. We knew what they were saying because they had, this type that told, what it is that they stood for. It could have really been just a plain Helvetica. It really could, but I don't know. I think it had to be this. It had to be something like Black led, Black created, Black organized. It had to be that to have the impact.